Hello and welcome to A Cat in the Garden. We have reached full peak summer here in Texas, even though it is only May, but it is the end of May. It's still really hot, but Nutmeg loves being outside regardless, and we're gonna do a little bit of a garden tour today. I just let him out, so he is really squirmy and just wants to go run around, so I'm gonna let him do that. But I also have Saffron out here. You might see her during the garden tour, you might not. They're both running around like crazy cats. I think trying to find some shade too. No matter how hot it is, they just insist on being out here, and I do give them some breaks. I bring them back inside, but they really wanted to be out right now. So I figured, why not just do the garden tour right now and we can all enjoy it together. First up is my little orchard, and that peach tree is done producing, harvested all of the peaches. That is the Tex King. This is the Tex Prince, and I still have a few peaches left on the plant. They are doing really well, almost all ready. Like I said, this one is done. The plum tree gave me nothing, but it's doing well. Just living life, I guess. And then the little bay leaf is also doing well. There's lots of new growth points, so it seems pretty happy over here. I also have this blueberry bush that I bought this spring on the clearance section, and then of course my African blue basil that survived the winter and is blooming again, looking really nice. On the seedling table, I have just a couple things right now. The eggplants finally sprouted, some leeks, some straggler tomatoes. I honestly didn't realize these were gonna sprout, and they did a week ago probably. This is one of my bigger tomatoes, but it got a little deformed when it was first growing, so I'm leaving it on the seedling table for longer. A black sesame sprouted, and then I have my peppers that I bought in Pennsylvania. I'm just getting them acclimated to the heat here. Some dragon fruit, and then some of my onions are curing, so I'll be able to bring them inside to store in about a week and a half. I only harvested them a couple days ago. So that's it for the seedling table area. Moving on to the garden beds, I've been slowly adding pepper plants to this one. I also have my cilantro that bolted, and the coriander seeds are just about ready to harvest, so I'm going to take down this whole plant very shortly. The peppers themselves are pretty young, so there's not too much to report about them. In here, this is all shishitos. They are producing a little bit faster than some of my other plants. So here's a nice one right here. I've got one there, one here. So they're looking really nice, really excited about those. And then I have been pulling up all the onions from here. And in here, this is the larger pepper bed. I have onions that are just about ready to harvest. The blue salvia has really taken off. The chives are doing great. I have some peppers that are almost ready. This one looks really close. And then the leeks are doing so well. This one is ready and then has started to bolt, so I really do need to get it out of the ground here soon. And of course, my overwintered variegated candy cane pepper does have a couple of peppers on it that are ready, so I'm very happy about that. That is definitely earlier than any of the peppers that were started from seed or that I bought as seedlings this year, so I'm happy with the results of that one. Moving on to my blackberries, we have been harvesting blackberries what seems like every single day, at least half a pint a day. They are doing so well. I am covering as many as I can with these little bags just to keep bugs and birds from getting them. I only have so many bags though, so I can't cover all of them, but I've covered quite a good amount. And then once I harvest all of the black ones, I'll just move it to ones that aren't quite ready yet. Here's some that should be ready tomorrow. They're doing really well. Oh, I think there's a nice one over here. I also have new canes coming up, so I'm trying to train them. This one will also be ready tomorrow, but it looks so good. Oh, here's some that are ready today. These look really nice right here, so I'll probably come back out later and pick them. I really don't think I'll be able to plant anything else in this bed ever again. I have a couple of flowers here, the rue and the hyssop, but I did grow some other things in this bed last year, but these plants have truly taken over, and I think that is going to be a thing of the past. Next to them is my perennial herb bed. I love how everything has grown into each other. It is the time of the year where a lot of things are bolting, so I'm struggling with that with my parsley. Still have some flowers on my thyme. The oregano and marjoram are bolting, but they will come back once they're done with that. I still don't have any blooms on my nasturtium here, but that's okay. I'm just surprised that it's alive, honestly. I have little borage babies from the plants that are done, so maybe we'll get some of those. And then, of course, I've got sage and some bronze fennel over here. Saffron, why are you out in the heat? You just want to say hi? Okay. Here you go. Get in the shade, girlfriend. Get in the shade. Here is my other herb bed. The lemongrass is coming along really nicely. It is thickening up a lot, which you want to see, and multiplying. It's also just growing a lot taller. So I'm very happy with the progress with that. I have more oregano and parsley back here, and then I just planted this month a variegated lemon thyme. It has probably doubled in size since I bought it. And then of course the artichokes are doing absolutely nothing. So I don't know, I might just end up pulling them after this year because it's been 2 years and I don't have a single artichoke I've been able to harvest, so I don't know what I'm doing wrong, but that's okay. They look nice at least. And of course my asparagus is going crazy. It is done for the year. I really think there's not going to be any more stalks coming up. Swiss chard is hanging on after it got attacked by caterpillars this spring. The new growth is looking a lot better, but it is tastier in the winter, so I'm probably not going to be eating much of it this summer. I have a few basil plants that I put in. This is one of them. They're doing really well. My dill from seed is also doing so well that it is starting to flower. So I probably will be chopping this back soon just to harvest some dill for some things. And of course, my kale is going crazy. It still looks like a monster. That one too, they're a sight to see. Most people, when they come and see my garden, they don't even realize that this is kale. They're like, what is this? I don't eat it in the summer just because of the pest pressure, but in the fall, it'll come back and it'll look even better than it did the previous year. My strawberries are having a second wind right now, so I have a few that are growing. Here's one. This one's just about ready, so I'm gonna pick it. Otherwise, the roly-polies are gonna eat it, so I will bring that inside with me. Thyme also is flowering, and my tomatillos are doing really well. We actually did have a tornado that went through the area, and we did not get hit by the tornado or the hail last week, but the winds here were 70 miles per hour and it did knock over my tomatillos. Luckily, they all survived. I was able to put them back upright and you wouldn't even tell that they got knocked over. There's so many flowers on these plants, so I'm expecting we're going to get lots of tomatillos soon. Carrots are still looking the same, but I do have more corn that is popping up in this bed and is getting taller, so I'm very happy about that. I'm trying to get away from this being just solely a carrot bed because I'm kind of sick of eating carrots so often, but it's okay. We do give a lot of away. And over here is my tomatoes. Now I only have a couple that are really on target with where they should be in the season. Here are the sun golds. I have been harvesting them already, but I have a few green ones. I already harvested the colorful ones this morning. And then this one next to it, I think is the apricot zebra. I don't have any tomatoes on it yet. And then the blush tiger, I was able to get a couple, but all the rest of my tomatoes look this small, so they're a little bit behind the ones I did from seed. And then I have some companion plants like marigolds and Thai basil. Same situation in here. I have some small tomatoes, which is why I put these cages around them for now, and some companion plants. Moving on, this last month was all garlic, and I have since replaced it with sweet potatoes. A lot of the sweet potatoes that we harvested together last year did start sprouting, and so I actually planted them in the ground. I didn't root them or anything, and they have all taken to root. I even have some shoots that popped up on their own from little bits that were left in here from last year. The garlic is all harvested and curing as well, but I'm very excited to have more sweet potato slips in here than last year, so I think we might even get a bigger harvest. Next to it here is my corn. I did have a few what I think are cutworms, but I was able to spray some BT, and I think they're all gone. I have some different stages, so this back row is a little bit farther along than the rest, but I have some corn growing here. I'm very excited for it. I've never grown corn before, so I don't know if I'm doing it right, but I thought I would just experiment and see. So I have some corn here, and I'm planting more corn there. And we'll just see what happens. This is the Martian Jewels corn, so I do really like that it is purple. More basil, one fennel left from the winter, and my cucumbers are doing really well. There are also some tomatoes in here doing all right. I just didn't have space for them in some other places, so I've put them in random spots in the garden. Like here as well, I have some tomatoes. Here's one. My watermelons are doing great. I even had 2 new ones pop up because the plant that was here died, but all of the watermelons are doing really well. This is the only one that's not from seed. I have yellow, orange, and red watermelon in the garden right now. My zucchini, unfortunately, is not doing well. I thought that putting this tarp over it would get rid of the squash vine borers. It didn't. So we're not going to do squash while we live in Texas. And that's really unfortunate because when I lived in the north, it was the easiest thing to grow in the world. And here I just can't do it because I can't beat these borers. I don't know. I've tried every single method imaginable. I do have some volunteer marigold in here though, so that is something to be happy about. My parsnips are all starting to be ready. I've been harvesting some scallions. I have a couple of leftover beets. Some determinate tomatoes are a new addition. So here's one. So I've got them all throughout, and then my pole beans. This is the red Chinese noodle bean, and this is the green one that I grew last year. The green one I did plant a couple weeks before that one, so it is starting to climb my trellis. It's a little bit farther along, and hopefully in the next few weeks I will start to have some beans on the plant. I did buy some vincas as well. This is a Hawaiian version of a vinca, and then I also have a lot of volunteer ones popping up all throughout the garden, which I'm not complaining about. They're one of my favorite flowers to grow. You might also know them as periwinkle, but their real name is vincas. I do still have some kohlrabi here. I have been harvesting it. There is pest pressure on the leaves, but I'm trying to keep it in here as long as I can. I have some soybeans, though these are a little dry, so I'll just save those for seed because I am almost out of seeds, but these look really good. And then I planted more of these soybean plants, so they should crop up along here shortly. Over here, this is my cayenne pepper bed. I have 7 in here. No, I have 8. I miscounted. I have 8 cayennes in here. I'm looking to maybe get one more, but we'll see. I do have 3 volunteer marigolds. They're so beautiful. I can't believe they're so big already. They're such a nice addition and pop of color to your garden, but they also serve a really great purpose in that they're going to repel bugs that you wouldn't want, like mosquitoes. In here, they repel a few other things. That's just the one that comes to mind. The peppers on these cayennes in particular are looking really big, but I'm just gonna trust the process. I did not grow these from seed. This one is more, oh, they're just falling off because of the storm right now. I also have the overwintered cayenne right here, looking really good. The old foliage is falling off, but there's a lot of new bright green foliage and lots of flowers, so I'm hoping to get some cayenne soon before it gets too hot for them to produce for a couple months. But hopefully this one is a bit hardier since it is the 2nd year that I have had this plant. Finally, I wanted to give one sad update, and that is that the potatoes did not make it. We got way too much rain and they all just rotted. Right at the point where they were starting to reproduce, they all rotted. So I'm very disappointed in that. I've never had a potato failure before, but I will go ahead and plant some later on in the season, and hopefully we'll be able to get some really good potatoes. I did just notice this though when I was talking about the potatoes. These are volunteer pepper plants. So I'm gonna try to keep this area watered because I'm pretty sure these are peppers I grew last year, and this will be nice to have some extra peppers. I don't mind when things grow out of my compost pile, so that's a win. Compost pile needs to be turned. I haven't done that in a couple weeks, so I'll go ahead and turn that before next month, and that's about it. So that is it for our garden tour for the month of May. It is so hot out here, so I think we are going to go inside. I cannot be out here any longer in the middle of the day. I don't know why I didn't do this in the morning, but I just didn't have time, I guess. So that is it. I hope you liked the garden tour. The garden is coming along a lot better now, even though I am still a little behind on my tomatoes and peppers. Other things are doing really well, so I'm happy about that. If you like this video, make sure to give Nutmeg and I here a thumbs up down below and subscribe so you don't miss anything from us here on the channel. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll catch you in the next one. Before I go, someone is insisting on being outside, no matter how hot it is. He's just having a great time. I think she might be done though. You ready to go inside? I think I am too. Yeah, we'll head inside in a minute.